welcome to BNI Heartland Week 11 highlights. It's the final week of BNI Heartland football. I'm your host, Ray Hughes.
And I'm your host, Brandon Suba.
Brandon, are you ready for football?
Well, I'm not excited that this is our last week together, but I am ready for this week's report. So let's run out onto the field and kick off with building relationships. This is going to be integrity in action in Casper, Wyoming versus circle of influence in Casper, Wyoming. Well, integrity in action came out strong, finishing the round with one visitor, 2 new members, resulting in 19 points.
Circles of influence were leading the conference going into this game. Crosstown rivals here in Casper, they brought in 1 visitor, 1 new member, and that was all the points they could score. Not enough to win it in their final match. Final on this one, Circles of Influence 11, Integrity in Action 19.
Well, let's punt on over to our next conference of Givers Gain. This was Professional Partners in Sioux Falls, South Dakota versus Seward County in Seward. For the last week, right?
There.
Seward, Nebraska. Well, Professional Partners, they showed up with a positive attitude. They gave it all they had during the game. They even left with a positive attitude, but unfortunately, they did not leave with any points, resulting in 0.
Seward County were second in the conference going into this game, so it made it kind of easy for them to pick up the victory here. All they needed were the 2 visitors they brought. Those 2 field goals enough. Final on this one is Seward County 6, Professional Partners 0.
We'll toss in a Hail Mary to the next conference of lifelong learning. This was Connect for Dollars in Omaha, Nebraska versus Stars in Bellevue, Nebraska. Well, Connect for Dollars, saying they were on fire would be an understatement. They had 2 visitors, they added 1 new member, and the whole chapter was there to celebrate with perfect attendance, resulting in 21 points.
Hard to go against a performance like that. Stars across town over in Bellevue, Nebraska tried to do what they could, but they only came out with 1 visitor and 3 points. That field goal not enough here. Connect for Dollars 21, Stars 3.
Well, let's put one into the end zone as we go over to Traditions plus Innovations. This was Paying It Forward in Omaha, Nebraska versus County Fork Connectors in Rock Springs, Wyoming. Well, this game really came down to the wire because these 2 were fighting for the top spot, but unfortunately Paying It Forward didn't have anything to put on the board, resulting in 0 points.
County Fork Connections did save some of their best playing for the finale here. We've got 1 visitor, 3 points. We've got 1 new member, touchdown and 2-point conversion for 8, and 100% attendance for another 7-point touchdown there. County Fork Connections not messing around. Final on this one, County Fork Connections 18, Paying It Forward 0.
You know, that was a fun game to watch.
Man, the highlight reel on that is incredible. We'll have to get that up for you guys.
All right, well, let's recover from that fumble as we head on over to Positive Attitude. This was Connections Crew, which for our long-time listeners, that's the Omaha lunch, in Omaha, Nebraska, versus Beatrice Fiscal Fusion in Beatrice, Nebraska. I got a couple more in there for the last week here. Well, Connections Crew came out strong. They had 1 visitor, they added 1 new member, and that resulted in 11 points.
Beatrice Fiscal Fusion was doing everything they could. Their offense was moving the ball down the field. Their defense was making the tackles, but at the end of it all, there were no points on the board for them. The final on this one, Connections Crew 11, Beatrice Fiscal Fusion 0. So taking a look around our BNI Heartland Conference, how do we do for perfect attendance, Brandon?
Well, Connection Crew must be a mind reader because they scored the exact same amount of points as we had for perfect attendance. We had 11 chapters report perfect attendance this last week.
So here we are at the last week of BNI Heartland football. Time to name our conference winners. In the Givers Gain Conference, no surprise there. Multiply Your Profits in Omaha, Nebraska have been leading the conference a while. They cemented it with a victory this week. Final record for them is 8-1-1. In the Building Relationships Conference, Rapid Referrals in Rapid City, the surprise winner after Circles of Influence dropped their game that we mentioned earlier. Their final record of 5-2-3, enough there. In the Lifelong Learning Conference, Cloud Peak and Sheridan has been leading pretty regularly throughout the season, and they end up on top as well with an 8-1-1 record. In the Traditions Plus Innovation Conference, we have County Fork Connectors in Rock Springs, defeating Paying It Forward out of Omaha like we mentioned before. Final record for them is 9-2. Most wins in BNI Heartland football this season. Finally, in the Positive Attitude Conference, we had the Kearney Lunch Core Group come away with a victory at the end, 8-1-1 record for them. A little bit of notice for your conference winning chapters. Each one of you will receive a banner or equivalent promotional product from BNI Heartland. You'll be contacted by the office on how to redeem those.
Each winning chapter also is going to have an MVP. Well, main office will work with you on selecting that, and that person or your MVP is going to receive a ticket for Members Day for the Denver Conference on March 27th, 2020.
And finally, any BNI Heartland member who sponsored a new member during the BNI Heartland football promotion gets their name entered into a drawing. You could win a 3-day, 2-night trip to Denver in March 2020 for the national conference as well. The BNI Heartland Regional Office will be in contact with you if you're one of those winners from our regions. Once again, we'd like to thank everyone for watching BNI Heartland football this season. We look forward to seeing you again next season. Thank you for actually talking about football, Brandon. You really knocked it out of the water this time.
Do.